Hey, I'm Kev, Mr. Cole, and welcome back to MotoGP 17 and the manager quiz. Right, headed to the Circuit of the Americas. So in free practice, the Flying Finn was at the top ahead of Marquez and Rossi with Vinales in 4th, MacDonald in 5th ahead of Dorvid in Pedrosa, Quattro, Iannone and Lorenzo make it through to Q2. So let's see how we do. So here we are, qualifying for the first time using the soft tyres. As in practice, we did a race simulation, did 5 or 6 laps on the hard tyres on both front and rear. You saw what that times you set. So with the soft tyres now on the bike, no, it should be much faster because he goes a bit wide in the first part there. But again, he's got 2 qualifying efforts. Hoping it's better use of them this time around than in Argentina. Well, he had a decent qualifying, but could have been better for him, just like the race as well. Looking to bounce back at one of his favourite circuits, MacDonald. Well, he's been very strong here, even if the results don't back it up. And so the rear end really does get light over that. Right, that breaks itself slightly into the hairpin. Able to turn it round on the bike. Now he reaches speeds over 210 miles per hour down this back straight. Goes all the way to the inside, then back to the outside. We're braking heavily into this left-hander. And oh, the rear has got away from him. There's a little bump on the inside. If you hit the apex, the rear end gets away like we saw in Moto 2 and like we see on this qualifying effort. So MacDonald just going to have to wind it back and prepare for his second lap here. Got plenty of time left, got plenty of tyre left. And thankfully he doesn't know that the bike was damaged in that fall. And you're seeing the dangers of Kota. That's why he hasn't got the results to back up his pace. Goes into penultimate corner, trickiest corner on the circuit. Blind, you're just aiming the bike and hoping you hit the apex there. There's a very tight run out of the final corner, perhaps too tight for a good run down this front stretch. And he puts down a 2:05.3, but you're looking to be around 4 seconds faster than that, MacDonald, in this lap. So he slides the bike into the hairpin, almost loses the front. Now into the right, just lifting slightly, got to 4th. And heavily on the brakes as you go through the S's, slide in the rear of the bike, almost getting out away from him. But into the right, double right, not too bad. Now into the left, again the rear getting away, slightly faster than his previous effort. Now up the hill, I do want to get it down to 2nd, but with the rear getting away, going to keep it in 3rd. Save those revs, save the rear end of the bike hopefully as well. Get up to 5th, heading into the hairpin. Taking just 400 metres. Down to 2nd, clip that apex. That's all getting on the power a bit screely. There seems to be a better... No, it's not. Half a second down. As oh, someone's gone faster, that's right. Johan Zarco and his Tech 3. So it goes wider into that corner. Get down to 2nd or keep it in 2nd as Iannone is down on his Suzuki. Just follow this Honda. The final part of the lap does MacDonald. If it's Marquez, he's the king over here in America. Be very good at guide. As he's 1/4 second up on Zarco. But that's not a good snap time that Zarco is set. As I said, he wants to get in the 201s. Now has to wait to get on the power, the bike getting away slightly through that corner on the exit. And slightly wide, the final corner. But smoothly on the power and sets a 201.3. Nicely done as he goes alongside Pedrosa, waves to him, thanks for the slipstream out of the final corner. That's what MacDonald wanted, 201.3. Let's see if that is fastest. As you saw in practice, that was around the pole time, and it is faster from MacDonald. His first pole of the season, ahead of Marquez and Vinales. with the Flying Finn in fourth ahead of Rossi and Pedrosa. Then it's Crutchlow, Dovi and Lorenzo, with Ian only leading the fourth ahead of Zarco and Petrucci. So let's see if MacDonald can fly away in the race. So we did all that practice, and look, it's now rain for the race, but MacDonald is a rep with a master. He will love these conditions as we look at the top 12. Let's look behind that though. As leading the fifth row is Jack Miller, then Scott Redding leading the sixth row, very low down for the Englishman. We've got Baz leading seventh row, Barbera leading the eighth row, and right at the back on the special row is Sam Lowes once again.
It's the Grand Prix of the Americas, mere seconds remaining now, and the riders know that here, the way they tackle that first corner is going to prove crucial.
Oh yes it is. If MacDonald can stay in front, you could hopefully keep the tyre away and check around the circuit where it can get a bit out of control, but with the wet conditions should help him as we wait for the light step here and go out for this 6-lap race. MacDonald gets away nicely ahead of Marquez and Vinales, but we head into the first corner. Can he hold on? He can. So MacDonald does lead heading into the second corner. MacDonald leading in the wet, that's a bad recipe for all the other riders in the field, because he will just get away from them, especially in this first sector, which seems to be his. The opponent's fight back in the next two sectors, in the final sectors again is MacDonald's. So he already gets into some of the wet weather there. Now 1.6 seconds ahead of Vinales already. The Pedrosa in third. Where's Marquez? I said normally he's the king in America. I believe at MotoGP level he's still unbeaten in America, which is just a crazy stat. So you go into the hairpin, don't want to be clipping the inside curb. And then see, the track's wet from overnight rain, so there's a bit of a dry line here after warm up. He gains another tenth from Vinales. Now breaking down into the left-hander. Gonna go wide. Oh, but it's starting to rain again. Just as I thought the track was going to dry up, it's raining again. MacDonald will probably be smiling under his crash helmet. But I don't think anyone else will see him for the rest of this race. Look at 2.4 seconds of Vinales now. The only guy MacDonald is battling with is himself. To go to the end of this first lap. What a first lap. Just what MacDonald needed after Argentina as well. And Qatar, where he should have won, but had to drop back on that final lap due to tyre issues. It's just a 2:03 flat on the opening lap. Crazy speeders. He's 4 seconds faster than Vinales. Joe's still in third. Marquez off the podium, the championship leader. Remember, heading into this race. So MacDonald taking a handsome haul of points away from him. He'll be right back in the title hunt. The results remain the same. Be just behind Vinales as well, much different than last season. But he's always fighting, clawing back at Vinales, sometimes from way back. In the end it was too much for MacDonald, but he started off the season much better this time around. And after 3 rounds, be right up there. Championship hunt. Goes a bit wide into the hairpin. Once again almost losing the back end and the front as well. And the braking, but holds on. Gets a decent run down his back straight. Has he's over 5 seconds ahead of Vinales. He's once again taking that wide line into the left-hander. Trying to avoid what happened in qualifying. This is something I would like to see fixed for the next game. Here's the wet weather performance of your opponents. It's a bit ridiculous. And MacDonald leads by an insurmountable amount after a lap. After a lap and a half. You could just cruise for the remaining 4.5 laps. There's almost losing the back end there. Getting accidentally down the first gear for the blowout corner. Never want to be in first gear in these bikes coming out the corners. Let's go on to the third of that. And he sets the 203.2. That's even slower than the opening that, but he did it from a standing start. Shows how incredible that first lap was for MacDonald. Yeah, he made a couple of mistakes on the second lap, but still. You can see there's no dry line here. It is all wetness on this tarmac. As Lorenzo's past Pedrosa for third. Lorenzo. Hello, Jorge. Where's Dovi? Where's Marquez? Lorenzo's the top Ducati and Pedrosa's the top Honda. Don't often say that. And where's Valentino Rossi as well? Got Yamaha first and second, but we don't have a Rossi in third. Might not even have a Rossi in the top 5. Mordor taking that wide line, too wide. Using the rear end, getting the power down. You can see the tyres around half worn. Or around a further way worn, shall I say, on both front and rear. So we might actually have to look out for the tyres on the final lap. So yeah, you're wet opponents for MacDonald. Couple seconds off the pace. It's not just a minor adjustment Marcel need to do, it's a big one. For wet their opponent's pace. They've had this issue with qualifying and race as well, where in qualifying it can be a bit slower, their opponents, than in the race. With that being a big issue in the last couple of games. Seems to be a bit better this game, but only if you skip to the end. Like skip time, not actually skip to the end, because then they are like a second slower. Not sure if that's been patched yet. Probably not. Probably just wait till the next game. Once again, MacDonald can't match that opening lap. 203.3. As he goes in the second half of this race. The tyres are around halfway worn, so he does have to look out for them. MacDonald in the second half of this race. Essentially, he's got a huge lead, which can help him protect these tyres. He can run a bit slower. Just keeping it in fourth now through the S's. That should help slightly. Not hopefully spinning up those tyres. Gets in the power. Oh, the Yamaha does not sound good when you're a gear up though. No longer sounds like a chainsaw, it sounds like a sick well or something instead. Good to see all the crowd. Those are the Renzo fans. I'm guessing they're pretty happy with this race. We go on to the back straight, which is just insane seeing the bikes go down at 200 miles per hour. And brake it all the way down to around 50. For the left-hander. Short shift up the third, then keep it in third through this stadium section. Still not the biggest fan of the stadium section, but it does provide some pass and some overtaking. Side-by-side action for the fans as well. Would have loved it if they just skipped that and went full pelt into this reverse turn 8, but that's like 30 years ago track design, or 40 years ago now. Can't do that anymore. So when I was heading on to the penultimate lap of the race, I think he's the only bike we've actually seen this race. Once again, 203.2. At least he's consistent, MacDonald. The tyres around a third of the way worn on both front and rear. So the tyre is being consistent, around a sixth on each of that. You can look ahead, you can actually see the rest of the field going through with reverse turn 8. That is crazy. But probably not even riding his best in these wet conditions. It's much better on his pole, that. We had Danny Pedrosa as a guide. I'm sure Marcus was happy about that. And Pedrosa just to lead MacDonald the way for that final sector. Reach out to him, get a pole. So almost losing the rear over that rise. Let's hope he didn't get too light. Once again, taking this deep line into the hairpin. Getting a bit of a wheelie on as well for the crowd. He gets on the power. With Lorenzo in third, I do wonder where Marquez is. Because he's going to be behind Vinales, maybe. Leaving here. He's going to still be ahead of MacDonald because he had over a 20-point lead on MacDonald, but still, I expected a bit more from Mark around here. Like I said, in real life, he's a demon around here. Extremely hard to beat. And that's on a difficult Honda as well. It is crazy what he's doing on that Honda. I mean, look at Pedrosa, who's no slouch. Not being able to be anywhere near him as the season has gone on. I mean, Danny does have his day, like once or twice a season, but apart from that, it is all Marquez in that teammate battle. As MacDonald goes on to the final lap, drops into the 204s. I'm sure he won't be worrying about that though. He's worrying about the tyres. As he shorts this up to third. Once again, can just view the other riders go through reverse turn 8. Go through this first sector. I do love this circuit on the bikes. Quite like it with the cars. My opinion's gone down over the 5 years of its existence for cars, but for bike racing it's still very good. I mean, it does have its controversial moments, like Rossi this year cutting one of the, I think it was one of the S-bends, wasn't it? Against Johan Zarco. Got a slight penalty, but it didn't actually really penalise him in the end because he still stayed ahead of Zarco. And I think he cut those corners just to stay ahead of Zarco as well. He was side by side and just powered down. Had like a second lead on Zarco from being side by side with the Frenchman. So yeah, that's maybe something MotoGP in real life got to look at the stewards, how to give away time penalties. Because in the game it's actually pretty decent. Even if you do wonder sometimes where the hell they get that penalty from. I've been playing GT Sport a lot online and I do wonder most of the time where the heck did he get like 2.4 seconds to penalise me. As MacDonald goes down, there's a bit of a nice bath early, as he has literally got no tyre. Look at that on front or in, no tyre at all. So thankfully he's just got a couple corners to go. So yeah, penalty system. GT Sport definitely used to have a look at, but I'll talk about that in more GT Sport videos. As he goes through the penultimate corner, MacDonald enters the final corner, his first win of the season. Wonder where the flying Finn is as well. Haven't seen him at all. On the leaderboard, as there is MacDonald. He's going to be tasting some champagne tonight. And on the podium. As he wins by 17.6 seconds. Look at that, 4 seconds. Faster than his closest rival. Really do need to look at this milestone for the next game. With Lorenzo in third, there's the flying Finn in fourth. Rossi in fifth, Marquez down in sixth. 2.5 behind Rossi. And almost a 2.5 ahead of Pedrucci, with Dovi down in 8th, Crutcho 9th, Redding in 10th. Sarko in 11th, Inoni 12th, Folger in 13th, Spargo 14th. Baptista scores the final point ahead of Pedrosa. Oh, did Danny fall down? And just a 10th of a second behind the Ducati. As right at the back is Bradley Smith. So in the championship, Vinales and Marquez are tied at the top, with MacDonald just 7 points back. The Flying Finn just 9 points back. And Rossi just 15 points back in fifth. It's very close with 4 Yamahas and a Honda. With Marquez being the renegade there, with Dovi up to 6th, or remaining in 6th. Renzo up to 7th. After his podium ahead of Zarco, then Crutcho and Iannone. Pedrosa down to 11th. You've got Petrucci, Espargaro, Redding. Folger up to 15th ahead of Miller and Baptista, with Alex Rins in 18th. Rabat up to 21st. So K. Ram at the back as Yamaha jump ahead of Honda in the constructor stands by 15 points. And you've got Chatty in third, Suzuki fourth, Aprilia fifth, and KTM yet to score. And in the teams rankings, it's very close between the Yamaha teams, with Elusive just a single point behind the factory effort after that race, with Honda down to third, 23 points back. And you've got Chatty fourth, Tech 3 fifth, LCR up to sixth, Pramac up to seventh, Suzuki down to eighth, and Aprilia down to 9th, then Mark VDS in 10th and Aspar in 11th, with Vintia and the Red Bull KTM factory racing team yet to score. As yes, ecstatic MacDonald, he loves these conditions, the clone loves these conditions, and what better place to party than in America as well. So a perfect race for MacDonald, apart from that crash near the end, just losing his concentration slightly, but started on pole, finished in first, up to third in the championship, and the flying finish as well, started fourth, finished fourth in the championship. Both smashed their objectives, and very consistent from the flying finish to be matching MacDonald after 3 rounds. And in Moto 2, Nicola from Andrea started third, up to second in the end, smashed the race objective, leads the championship. With Rao started 8th, finished 9th, up to 12th in the championship, just missing out on the race objective though. Then in Moto 3, Nicola from the Swede started first, finished first, is now leading the championship. With Alejandro started third, finished third, is in 5th in the championship. All riders doing fantastically this weekend. With Yao improving his cornering and body position and Moto2 affinity, Andrea improving his throttle management, and the Swede improving his throttle management as well, as we earned a decent amount of credits and reputation. Perfect weekend. And the end of the episode, we got an activity to do, and we can do a sponsor event for 9,000 credits, autograph session for 525 reputation, go to the gym with some coaching for the muscle endurance, which will improve our riders' braking ability by 20% for the next race, or go to the gym and do some coordination training, improve our riders' body position ability by 100 XP. So do we choose braking or body position ability? Let's go for braking, shall we? As next time out, we'll be heading to Spain for the first time this season, and the Circuito de Jerez, which will quickly be known as the Angel Nieto circuit, named after the late 12+1 world champion. Can MacDonald grab another victory? Can he really take charge of this championship for the first time at MotoGP level? Can the flying thing continue being consistent? Can Andrea continue leading the championship after this round? And can Chris Gustafsson also do that in Moto 3? Find out next time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then.